Welcome back to the Boardroom Brief, the podcast where we unpack the decisions shaping enterprise value. I'm your host, and today we're tackling a subject that's quietly become one of the most consequential conversations in the C-suite, M&A due diligence in 2026, and specifically, why the CFO has become the last line of defense. Joining me is a veteran transaction advisor who has guided more than 60 deals across sectors. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. It's a timely conversation because the M&A landscape today looks almost nothing like it did even 3 years ago.
Let's start there. What's fundamentally different about due diligence in 2026?
Three things have shifted simultaneously. First, deal timelines have compressed dramatically. What used to be a 90-day diligence window is now often 30 to 45 days, sometimes less in competitive auctions. Second, the nature of value has changed. We're underwriting intangibles, data assets, AI capabilities, customer relationships, regulatory positioning that don't sit cleanly on a balance sheet. And third, integration failure rates have climbed back above 70%, so you have less time, more complexity, and a higher probability of value destruction. That's the environment CFOs are operating in.
And yet boards and CEOs are still pushing deals through. Why is the CFO suddenly the critical checkpoint?
Because everyone else in the deal process has a bias toward closing. The CEO has a strategic narrative to defend. The corporate development team is measured on deal flow. Bankers are paid on completion. Even the legal team, frankly, is optimizing for documentation, not for whether the deal should happen. The CFO is structurally the only senior executive whose credibility is tied to what the asset actually delivers after close. That's a lonely seat, but it's the seat that protects shareholder value.
Where do you see value leaking most often in today's deals?
4 places consistently. The first is revenue quality. In a world of subscription models, usage-based pricing, and embedded AI features, reported ARR can mask enormous churn risk or contractual fragility. The second is technology debt. Buyers are acquiring platforms that look modern on the surface, but carry years of architectural compromise underneath. And remediation costs can swallow synergies entirely. The third is talent concentration. Critical capability often sits with 10 or 15 people, and if they walk in the first 6 months, you've bought a brand and a customer list, not a business. And the fourth, increasingly the most dangerous, is regulatory and data exposure. AI governance, cross-border data flows, sector-specific compliance. These can turn a clean deal into a liability overnight.
For our CMO and CDO listeners, where should they be aligning with their CFO during diligence?
CMOs need to pressure test the commercial assumptions. If the deal model assumes cross-sell uplift or pricing power, the CMO should be the one stress testing whether that's real or aspirational. CDOs should be doing the same on data and technology. Can these systems actually integrate? Is the data clean enough to support the AI use cases in the synergy model? Too often, these functions are pulled in after the LOI, when the price is essentially set. The best-run acquirers bring them in pre-LOI, and the CFO is usually the one who insists on that.
When should a CFO walk away? That's the hardest question.
It is. I'd offer 3 signals. 1, when the diligence process itself is being constrained. Limited data room access, rushed management sessions, refusal to provide cohort-level financials. That's not just inconvenience, it's information. 2, when the synergy case requires heroic assumptions to clear the hurdle rate. If you need everything to go right to justify the price, you're already overpaying. And 3, when cultural and operational integration risk hasn't been seriously modeled. The CFOs I respect most have walked away from deals at the 11th hour, and in every case, 18 months later, they looked prescient.
Any final advice for CFOs listening right now who have a deal on their desk?
Yes, document your dissent. If you have concerns, put them in writing to the board, even if the deal proceeds. Build a diligence team that includes operators, not just accountants and lawyers. And remember that your job isn't to kill deals, it's to ensure the ones that close actually create value. The CFOs who get this right become the most trusted voice in the room, the ones who don't become a cautionary footnote in next year's impairment charge.
A sobering and clarifying conversation. Thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure. Good luck out there.
That's it for this episode of the Boardroom Brief. If this resonated, share it with a colleague in your finance or strategy organization. Until next time.